So bottom line here, artificial intelligence didn't ruin any lives. It didn't steal anybody's jobs. There were no global takeovers by cyborgs. None of that happened.
I mean, I have a robot in my house and I don't know where it came from, but other than that, yeah.
Welcome to another episode of Marketing with Friends. I'm your host, Jen Capstraw, and I've got a couple of very special guests from Walgreens today. We've got Ashlee Piper and Ryan Duritsa. Ashlee, please introduce yourself and tell us about the book with the very sweary title.
Well, hi, I'm Ashlee Piper. I am the copy director for the email channel at Walgreens, and I happen to do sustainability work on the side. And so I have a book called Give a Shit, Do Good, Live Better, Save the Planet.
And would you like to make a wager on whether or not the name of your book is bleeped in post-production today?
Probably bleep. Yeah, I would say at any media stuff I do, it's going to be bleep.
Maybe we'll just have some random beeping just for the fun of it.
Ryan and I will have a watch party after this when we actually see the whole thing, and we'll take I don't know, Ryan, shots of Walgreens brand water.
Yeah, do we drink when it beeps? Yeah.
Ryan, please introduce yourself and tell us where you think you're going to land on this wager.
I lose all wagers pretty much, so I'm betting against myself, I guess. Anyway, so yeah, my name is Ryan Duritsa. I'm the digital creative director for Walgreens, and we have a team that does work on own channels, so email, social, our site, and some digital media.
Excellent. And the two of you are here with us today because you recently introduced artificial intelligence. And I'll be honest, I don't completely understand what that means, other than you were able to fire your entire copywriting team, because we all know that copywriters are indeed useless. So my first question is, how many copywriters were you able to fire? And secondly, did you use artificial intelligence to write the pink slip?
Well, I don't want to speak for Ryan since he oversees the group, but as far as I know, we got rid of actually 0 copywriters.
Disappointing.
Yeah, I hate copywriters. They're the worst.
I mean, there was a real chance there to write, send them on their merry way with a rock'em sock'em robot kit, just to really drive the point home, right?
I think if AI wrote the pink slip, it would be one of the best pink slips ever written. It would be super effective, high quality pink slip.
So nobody lost their jobs over this. But we do know that AI is unpredictable. It can produce outcomes that aren't quite ideal. When we spoke a few weeks ago, you told me about that website. What was it? thispersondoesnotexist.com. And I went there and I immediately saw an image of a child with a 5 o'clock shadow, which was quite disturbing. Mm-hmm. So when you implemented AI at Walgreens, were there any children with 5 o'clock shadow or anything else that was very disconcerting?
Well, I think, just to remind everybody, I'm sure, of the billions of people on planet Earth right now, there's some child with 5 o'clock shadow. So not out of the realm of possibility.
I was perhaps one of the most trepidatious about starting to use AI because I had experience with it, but not experience with it relative to the actual job I do. And so the thing I was most concerned about was it was going to seem obvious that it wasn't written by a person. It was going to feel very cyborg-esque, kind of completely out of the realm of being able to relate with our customers, which, we kind of believe the narrative that only people can do that. But I like that Phrazy is infinitely teachable. So as we would make small corrections to these kind of anomalous subject lines, Phrazy would learn, we can't do that anymore. And so I found that really helpful. For instance, during the pandemic, we had to really dial down the punchiness and kind of the fun and the hearkening to today's your day and it's a great day. We had to really tone that down super quickly for a lot of emails that we send out because it just wasn't appropriate for the general zeitgeist of what people were feeling at the time. And I like how changeable Phrasey is, but also how teachable it is over time. It makes me feel kind of more comfortable, and it's always exciting to see what it generates. And I feel like we're kind of using the tool to learn together with it.
We were, delightfully surprised, I think, that things were so well written and humanistic, and there was even, a few things in there that were totally human, like making up words and combining, phrases and things like that. It was pretty amazing. And we had challenges internally where we would sort of try and guess which subject line was written by a copywriter versus which was written by machine. And there's no way that we could really tell the difference.
All right, so you mentioned cyborgs, and I am a fan of sci-fi, and cyborgs are terrifying to me. Do cyborgs write better email copy than humans?
So I think it's less of a competition and a really nice coexistence, if that makes sense. It's a nice relationship where we're both, the AI and the human copywriters, are bringing something important to the table.
One big advantage of AI is that you can get to scale in a way that you can't with human labor.
So let's talk about best practices and artificial intelligence. Now, I'm not a person who likes rules, and I think that best practices are bullshit. A company like Walgreens probably has a different point of view than me. Tell us about that point of view, Ryan, and how did that tie into your AI efforts?
I would argue if you have a best practice that's bullshit, it's really not a best practice. But we did have what we called best practices, and of course we're always learning, but that were proven to not be 100% accurate when we started getting results from what our AI was writing. For example, we for a long time, and I think industry also pointed to shorter subject lines as being more effective. But that's absolutely not the case. In fact, we were surprised to find that a lot of times longer subject lines perform really well. It's not the length, it's really a combination of the length and what's in it. So, and there's more variables there than a human can juggle, but a machine can do that pretty well. So I had, there was an instance where I had an executive email me and say, hey, what's up with these super long subject lines? That's not, industry standard. And I was able to say, well, those are the way they are. They're long because they're the most effective ones that we put out to our customers, and that's all proven by data. And so it's always a good feeling when you're making the right decisions because you've got the data behind it. So was happy to have that conversation.
All right, Ashlee. So this is the moment where we shamelessly plug your book. Tell us again the name of that book.
Well, thank you for the shameless plug. It's called Give a Shit, Do Good, Live Better, Save the Planet. Bleep as you need.
TBD, if there will be bleeping. And so this is about sustainability and values, right?
Yeah, well, it's about sustainable living. So cultivating individual habits that lead to a more sustainable lifestyle and thus can help with climate change.
There is a huge trend right now in terms of brands jumping aboard the bandwagon, whether it's authentic or not. So communicating clearly and effectively is something that's really difficult to do when it comes to a brand's values and being authentic. And Walgreens was tasked with adapting to the COVID environment in 2020 and beyond. Was it an extra hurdle to then throw AI into the mix? Can you lose that authenticity when you introduce artificial intelligence?
We value ourselves first and foremost as a healthcare company. That is what Walgreens does. We want our customers to be happy and well and to live their best lives, and we want to be their partner in that. The only thing that was requiring a little bit of pivoting when using kind of AI was that when the pandemic happened, so quickly, right? I mean, all of us were like scrambling, pivoting every second to try to figure out what's the new guidance, what's actually happening. And we have a lot of emails in flight. We send hundreds of different emails every week to millions of customers. And a lot of those emails already had, subject lines generated for them. And they were really pithy and they were fun because at the time when we were building those emails, that was how the world felt. That was how things felt. That's what we wanted our customers to feel. So the only change was we had to kind of immediately change all of those subject lines. And for a few weeks, as we got our sea legs with the pandemic and understanding what our customers actually needed from us when it comes to like tone and information, we did opt to do more human generated subject lines for those because, as you can imagine, especially in a large company, communicating any information about the pandemic, the chain of command became even bigger, right? So it wasn't just me and Ryan looking at things and our business partners. It was me and Ryan and the CEO and the CFO and the CMO, like everybody had skin in the game with these email communications and how they would land with our customers, how it would feel for people to receive those. And subject lines are, they're the kind of welcome wreath. They're the door to the email. So they're arguably one of the most important pieces. And then through that, we learned a lot about what our customers look to us for during times of crisis, during times of confusion. And we were able to then translate a lot of those notes about tone and some of the things that we don't want to have. We don't want to have like, Zoom, it's a great day. We don't want it to be too pithy. We were able to put that into AI and actually then have AI be doing a really good job of striking that balance.
All right. Well, Ashlee, Ryan, thank you so much for joining us for Marketing with Friends. It was definitely a pleasure to have you today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
And join us next time for Marketing with Friends. You never know what's going to get bleeped.
And you just kind of have to put something together, throw it out there as a litmus, see how it goes, and then tweak after the fact. Sort of ask permission later, or ask forgiveness first, then permission later. Is that the phrase? What is it? Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Help me. What's the phrase? We don't know.